All right.
And if you could just make me co-host, please, so I can share. I know I can share. I'll just test that.
Okay.
Yep, there we go.
Oh, you can. Great. Okay, so we are live in the Radiante book site. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our amazing 11 a.m. session this Sunday morning. It's a beautiful day out there on the Gold Coast.
Day here as well.
Fantastic. And we have got a masterclass by Sashua Benay this morning. It is called Embracing Change, Tapping into the Soul's Love for Challenge. Now, we're just going to wait for a few people to jump on, and I'm going to go through Sashua's bio to introduce her to you all. And I know that we have some people following along in the Radiante Books Facebook group, Sashua. They told me,
right.
Yeah, so.
Excellent. Well, hello to all of those people.
And I will try and keep an eye on the comments in there as well, so as I can feed them back to you, because I know it's too hard as a facilitator to do that.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Okay. All right. Sashua Benay is a transformation coach, group facilitator, intuitive mentor, international #1 best-selling author, and keynote speaker. Following a 12-year corporate career in human resources, she has since spent 16 years in intuitive coaching and mentoring, facilitating personal and professional development, as well as group facilitation. She is a master coach who brings her engaging, passionate, and nurturing approach to business transformation, entrepreneurial collaboration, and personal mastery. Her passion is to create worldwide change through inspiring and empowering professionals and entrepreneurs to find their truth and path of happiness through conscious living and leadership. And I just wanted to add to that, Sashua, that Sashua is also a wonderful friend of mine. And I know her to be incredibly authentic, conscientious. We're laughing.
A little bit too much so sometimes. We won't talk about that.
That's a little bit conscientious, she is. And one of the most intuitive people that I know. Her work is profound, and she's making an incredible difference in this world.
Wow. Thank you, Leanne. You added all those bits at the end. They're very sincere.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm so excited to be here and a part of this Radiante L.I.V Festival. It's been an incredible journey for us all, I think, throughout this project, and what a way to kind of come to a climax at the end, to really, celebrate igniting the light in others, but also at such a time when people just need it. Like, if we just have a really heart-to-heart conversation, there's a lot going on for a lot of people, and it just feels so good to be showing up and just all sharing our magic so that, we can help support people in whatever it is that they're going through right now.
Amazing. So, I will let you go for it.
Great. Excellent. Thank you very much. All right. Well, I'm going to do a bit of screen sharing along the way. I would also encourage anyone who's listening in to get a pen and paper, because this is an interactive workshop. Jay, you're not allowed to because you're driving. But anybody else who's listening in or who joins us on the Zoom, it would be fabulous for you to be interactive and really take this opportunity over this pocket of time to really take time for yourself. We're always talking about needing to do more self-care and needing to have more reflection time. And now is the time for that. So I am very privileged to be here with you for this pocket of time. And as Leanne said, I am speaking to the topic of embracing change, tapping into the soul's love for challenge. And the key word really there is love. So we are going to be doing a deep dive into that today. We all know that we are in super times of change, and everywhere we turn, there's change. Sometimes there's challenge. And even to some things that we thought were pretty constant in our lives, whether it's relationships or businesses, you know, where we live, how we live, is suddenly now being questioned. And what your life might look like or your plans for the future may even be morphing into something different. And that may come with some uncertainty or challenge. So let's talk about that today and how we can embrace the feeling of change from a conscious soul perspective and really understand the resources and the strengths that we have inside of us already to be able to thrive through a time like this. So Leanne gave a little bit of an overview about me. This is another bit of a storyboard about me. So I did spend 12 years in corporate HR, worked my way up the top of the ladder, got there and then went, what am I doing here? I just knew I wasn't in the right place. So I did a massive farming tree change, and I moved states and I moved to a farm. But that transition from corporate to the farm was one of really deep diving into spiritual development, personal development. And I remember setting my 3-year business plan as we do. And I had achieved it within 3 months because I was on such a fast track spiritually to really change my life. And within the first year of leaving corporate, I lost 50 kilos. And I became an entrepreneur shortly after, had an organic medicinal herbal tea business with a crew of people, which was an amazing experience. But living on a farm and really connecting back in with nature and with me without all the roles that I was playing. It's like I was given the opportunity and took the opportunity to let all those roles go. And it was a very, very empowering time for me. I've also been a spiritual consultant with Living Illumination, which is a spiritual university, and I've been doing that for 16 years as well. And as Leanne mentioned, I'm a transformation coach, intuitive mentor, corporate facilitator, and speaker. And over a glass of red wine one night a few years ago, we worked out how many conversations I've had with people about their spiritual health and their energetic health. And we worked out it was over 22,000. So it's lucky I like talking with people. And I guess the thing that I also like to say is that I am one of those coaches who has done the work, and I continue to do the work. You know, I'm very curious about how we can always evolve our life into a higher consciousness, you know, more contentment and fulfillment in life in a really true and heart-centered way. But all the photos around the edge there is what I spend my time doing. So I do love speaking in front of live audiences and doing corporate facilitation work. And when I'm not doing that, I might be driving a tractor. I could have a chainsaw in my hand. I've even laid a few slabs of concrete here and there. And I do like to be out and about and be physical and be in the garden. And there's our new veggie garden beds you can see there as well, which I built with my partner. And we have our Marama dog as well, who is a big part of our lives. So that gives you a little bit of insight into me. And we live on beautiful acreage in Gippsland. So I feel very, very blessed to have created that kind of a lifestyle. So let's talk about embracing change. I'm going to take you through 9 uplifting steps to embracing change. The first one is about connection with the consciousness, the universe. Then we'll talk about own your own soul's origin, own who you are, own where you come from. how to navigate the nuances when you do come and have a lifetime on this beautiful planet Earth, sharing space and what that means in communing with others. And as you go through your life, the collective community and how that can really create that need for change and morphing and changing and growing. Then we'll talk about inspired individuality and the journey that we can go through in that. Openness to outgrow, that is, outgrow who we once were into who we are changing and morphing into being. Uniqueness unfolding, and that is really giving ourselves permission to step into that space of our uniqueness. And then finally, self-truth, because there's truth, there's other people's truth, and there's your truth. And that is the most important one to be tuning into the most. So as you can see, we're going to be talking about conscious, and we have that great little acronym there that will be able to give you that trigger to remembering all the steps to embracing change. And I guess the key message that I'd like to put out there at the beginning of this masterclass is that feeling that over the course of the next pocket of time, you'll be getting that renewed feeling that no matter what's going on, that you've got this, that you are already in progress. And today is the inspiration to take it maybe that little bit further, or maybe a lot further. So before we begin, I'd like to do a quick centering exercise. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing right now, if you could just sit comfortably in your chair, and if you feel to, you're welcome to close your eyes and take a few big, deep breaths in and out, and in and out. And just allow your breath to fall into a natural rhythm, and really bring your focus right inside your heart. Just let everything else around you dissipate into the distance. It will be there waiting for you if you need it later on. And consciously take your attention from your head space down into your heart. Really feel what it feels like to be there. And now consciously ask the universe, the field of energy around you that supports you, ask them to be with you throughout this session, to share any insights with you that will benefit you along your journey. And just hold the energy for you as you're in this incubator for your own personal and spiritual growth. Take a moment to acknowledge yourself for tuning in today, taking the time out for yourself. And when you're ready, just take a nice big deep breath in again and out, and just feel yourself coming back into the room. And we're going to start by doing a check-in. So what I'd like you to do is get your pen and paper and ask yourself, how do you respond to change? How do you respond to change? So you can stay in that heart space. What does it feel like when change comes your way? How have you responded to change lately or in the past? And as you're wrapping up those insights, I'm also going to invite you to get 2 key words to clearly describe how you respond to change. 2 key words, and we're going to check in on those words later, on how you feel when change comes knocking at your door, whether you perhaps might rebel or hide from change, or whether you tackle it, whatever emotions come up for you. All right, so it looks like those that are here have their key words. That's excellent. All right, so this is a story of a soul named Uzi. Uzi is a universal being and a beautiful being that is on their journey of clarification and self-understanding in an incarnation on planet Earth. And you might even see yourself in Uzi as we go through their story. So let's see. Uzi is a master of embracing change and indeed loves to be challenged. So let's find out how Uzi embraces change. Firstly, Uzi comes at change from the perspective of connection. This is where Uzi's journey begins. Uzi is a big soul of the universe and is very connected with consciousness and the opportunity of being on planet Earth. And Uzi also has their master souls around them. So the connection that Uzi goes through is a really intimate connection with consciousness, with the universe, and the positive field of energy that is around them. They understand that having an opportunity on planet Earth, having a lifetime on planet Earth, is an amazing journey. And they're very excited about coming because with that opportunity in coming to planet Earth, the experience will help them grow and evolve to a higher level of consciousness, to refine their energy beyond where they have been able to take it so far. Now, before incarnating, Uzi has a very specific plan because, of course, Uzi's had many lifetimes before now. And over those lifetimes, they have been tracking and monitoring whether they have been meeting their goals in each of those lifetimes. So this lifetime, they have a really specific plan. Part of that plan involves learning and growing themselves and healing certain blockages and misunderstandings that they have in their energy. And also for many, including Uzi, it's also about expanding into something new, into something different, and using all that benefit of learning and growing to actually do good on the planet. So some people might call that a purpose, a calling, a destiny, whatever word you give it. It's that bigger picture that is our opportunity when we come down to the planet to grow into. Now, Uzi's a pretty clever soul, and Uzi thinks, well, if I'm going to take on this massive undertaking of continuing on my path on planet Earth, I need a team. And so Uzi actually forms a contract with some master souls. And those souls have mastered the very things that Uzi has specifically come to learn this lifetime. And so there's this beautiful connection and synergy between Uzi and these master souls. Now, you might call these master souls angels or guides, source even, but they are very specific to Uzi. Uzi has their own personal team, and they are with Uzi from before their first breath till after their last breath. So what I'd like you guys to do now is just take a moment of reflection with your master souls. And what I'd like you to do is tap into what can you remember about the conversation that you had in the universe with your guides before you came to planet Earth, before you incarnated. When were you planning your incarnation? So just take a moment to take a trip out there now and reaffirm the feeling of that conversation. I'll just give you a moment to do that. Okay, so we'll just come back. And is there anyone who would like to share any insights about their journey and that conversation that you had? You can either pop it in the comments on the Facebook page, or Leanne, is there anything you'd like to share?
Yes, I was going to put my hand up.
Great.
Oh, that was awesome. I really got really strongly that I've been put here on Earth this time to lead by example. Like I've got, just by living my life the way I do. So I don't even really need to do that much. I've got shivers all over me. It's just by the way that I live my life in true alignment to myself and my family, showing others how to do that.
Amazing. Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you for sharing. It's a beautiful energy to touch, isn't it? Not a moment in time that we go to very often, if at all.
It's so amazing, actually. Yeah.
Beautiful. Excellent. All right. Well, let's now keep track with Uzi and what their next step is. So along their journey of understanding and embracing change, Uzi is again taking on the challenge of owning who they are in the universe, owning their unique vibration, knowing that they have a destiny and they have a karma. So you might say, what does it take to own your own soul's origin? Well, it's about taking time out to really tune in to who you really are. Not the roles that we play, not the personality that we've developed this lifetime, but really stepping back and away from all of that and taking time out to dig a lot deeper into who we are as a vibration of energy. So I'd like to do another little technique in a moment, which will help clarify sometimes the bigger picture of who we are as a soul. And it's very important to note that we are definitely on a journey. And I'd love for ever who is tuning in, just to tune into, have you ever discovered any, lifetimes that you have lived before now? And we carry this unique vibration of energy that is us through all of these lifetimes. And we are evolving our understanding of it constantly. We have our destiny and our plan, as we've talked about. And also we have karma, which is simply just a register of energy. So sometimes we owe karma and sometimes we give karma. And it is a journey through lifetimes. And what can really help us tap into the knowing that we have gone through masses of change over that lifetime, those lifetimes, is to know that it's more than just about this lifetime. And that's something that Uzi really understands, is that it's important to keep this lifetime in perspective where possible. It's not to say we don't process things that are happening to us on a daily basis, but it's also to know that in some situations, there's more to know. And it's very worthwhile inquiring into that. So I'll invite you to do another technique now. So this is a reflection technique where you are going to ask how many lifetimes you have lived and what does it feel like to know that. So just sitting quietly in your chair, big deep breath in and out, and place your hand on your heart to really tune in. And just feel into how many lifetimes have you lived. You may even get a feeling for one or two of those. And what does it feel like to know that you have lived more than just this lifetime? So just gently coming back into your present awareness, and you might like to make some notes at this point on any impressions that you just received. Okay, great. All right, Leanne, would you like to share anything that you got insights on in that session?
Yeah, so when I asked how many lifetimes I've lived, it took a while for it to come, and then I got 154.
Okay, great.
And that feels like so empowering. Like I can conquer anything if I've lived 154 times before.
That's it.
It makes anything feel quite menial, actually.
That's exactly right. It gives us perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because it is so easy for all of us, myself included, to get really embroiled in what's happening just this lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not to say there isn't stuff happening. There's certainly stuff happening, you know, but it helps us go through that change process, you know, be able to cope with the challenge of getting a curveball off left field or whatever's happening, to know that we have lived many lifetimes and we have overcome and built up strength and resilience in so many different situations. And when we're really tuned in and connected with our soul part and who we are as a soul, all of a sudden we have access to so many more resources to be able to deal with the here and now.
Amazing.
Also, being able to feel that sort of broader timeline beyond this lifetime is very important, because sometimes when we have particularly instances in relationships and people that we may have had as loved ones in other lifetimes and things, we can't just look at one lifetime in isolation, because one lifetime is just one chapter of many. And so part of owning your soul's origin is important so that we can be able to make the decisions that we want to make in this lifetime more tuned into that bigger perspective. All right, so let's see how Uzi travels along the next step of embracing change. So the next expertise that Uzi has to share with us is around navigating around this planet. So Uzi's done a lot of planning, got a master souls with them, and has tuned into a lot about who they are, looked at their timeline, and now they are coming for an incarnation into planet Earth. They have choices. They have people they're going to incarnate with. They decide where they're going to incarnate and when, and most importantly, why they're incarnating. And so it's about navigating the nuances of each of those individual situations and really getting a lay of the land, because everyone's situation is completely different. And that is absolutely perfect, because we chose where we wanted to incarnate for precisely the experiences that we needed to have to take us through this journey. So what I would invite you all to do now is another reflection on navigating the nuances of your life. So if you sit nice and relaxed, close your eyes if you feel to. Just taking that big, deep breath in and out. And place your hand on your heart if you want to. And just take a moment to tune into, why did you choose the parents that you did? What is it that you needed to learn from them specifically? What was it about their vibration of energy that you needed for your soul's journey? So when you're ready, just make some notes on any impressions that you received? Okay, well, you're our star student today, Leanne. So
I feel special.
are you comfortable sharing any
Yes,
insights you'd like to share?
absolutely.
Right.
So when I felt into that, my mum and my dad, very different vibrations, very, very different. And from my mum, it was very much learning about being extremely independent and also, high achieving. So, and then from my dad, it was very much about being in alignment and living the most joyous life I could live. My dad was extremely high vibration, always had us belly laughing, and we would be saying, stop, our muscles would hurt, like we'd be curled over, cracking up at him all the time.
Yeah.
So we never took life seriously, and it was amazing to have a parent figure like that. Yes, he was so happy. He was so happy, and he was happy with the most basic of things, like it was not materialistic or anything like that. He just was happy within himself and within his life. And so that was a huge thing to learn.
Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing to hear you reflect, because I can see everything you just said about both of your parents. I can see in you, of course.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And that's why you chose them, because you have that affinity with them, but also, that's what they've come to teach you, and you may well overtake them as parents in terms of you refining that even beyond. Because that's what we do, that's what our children do, is they learn from us and then they take it further.
Really interesting.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. So, and like Uzi on their journey of incarnating onto the planet, if you imagine you're a soul coming from the universe, you've chosen this specific situation to come into, and you're used to being in the universe, which is full of energy, beautiful energy. There's no confusion out there. And we come down onto the planet, boom, we land here and we go, oh my God, what did I come here for? And we're helpless in our first few years, and we have to rely on the people around us. And so we go through this whole sort of indoctrination process, if you like, of understanding how things work here. And sometimes it can be a bit of a rude awakening, particularly, when we're used to being in such clear space in the universe. So right from day one, we are learning how to embrace change. We are learning about being challenged. And so Uzi on their journey has really been sharpening their skills on understanding how do they navigate this place? How do they navigate this physical place that, has this mix of all these different vibrations of energy? And in the first instance, they're mainly focused on their parents or any other caregivers and siblings that might be close around them. So let's have a bit of a talk about that. So the next step in Uzi's learning about embracing change and challenge is about sharing space with other vibrations of energy. So not only does Uzi have parents, but there may be siblings involved. There may be other caregivers or influential people in the environment, and every single person has a different vibration of energy. Also, the environment may have a particular vibration of energy. You know, depending on what country Uzi has incarnated into, or what socio-economic area they've incarnated into, or even the personality types and what that family unit is going through at that time, which of course can be, you know, leave the most indelible imprint on us all, particularly in our early childhood years. And also, Uzi chooses that shared space with all those vibrations of energy for the concepts that all of those people have. And by concepts, I mean blockages and misunderstandings. So Uzi hasn't just chosen these people for the clarity and the beauty that they are as a soul, but just as importantly, Uzi has chosen these people to learn from example of what not to do. And they've chosen those people, they've chosen those people quite specifically because that's something that they too have come to learn about. And we get very stimulated when we've got something to learn, and then we're in an environment where someone else also has that same thing to learn, and that person really presses your buttons. So if you're, for instance, you know, there to heal, say, insecurity, and someone else in your environment continually shows signs of insecurity, then that's going to make you feel agitated, because you've got a mirror right in front of you that's showing you what you're there to heal as well. And that's the perfect incubation of what a shared vibration space is that we are all learning from all the different pieces of the puzzle that we and our guidance have set up for us in our lifetime. So it's really important to sometimes reflect on the people that you chose to have around you as influential in your early years, because there's always a reason. And for their imbalance as much as their out of balance traits. So their positive attributes or their more negative attributes. Okay, so Uzi continues their journey, and now their experiences are growing exponentially. So all of a sudden, not only Uzi has had all these different siblings and cousins and family members and things rubbing up against their vibration of energy and pressing buttons and expanding them and having joyful experiences and all of the above. But now Uzi is starting to step out further into community, into friends, into relationships, eventually then having their own children and building community in business. So this is where Uzi's energy really starts to expand, because as we have connection and interactions with different people, we're learning about different vibrations of energy. So in the beginning, we're in this smaller incubator. But then as Uzi evolves on their journey, they'll get school friends, they'll start having relationships as they get into adulthood, and then they may or may not have children on their journey. And then they may be involved in the community and, of course, in business endeavors. And so all of a sudden, Uzi's influential energies has just expanded. And we are constantly learning and trying to navigate our way, I'm going to say, through a soup of all these different vibrations of energy. For instance, have you ever gone to either a social engagement or perhaps even a business networking engagement, and you go home and you just feel grubby? Do you know what I mean? You just feel a bit grubby from all of the different vibrations of different energies that were there in and out of balance. You know, sometimes it feels like you just have to have a shower, or you have to, you know, go back to nature, or you have to kick your shoes off and, you know, walk on the grass for a while just to kind of get yourself back and grounded. It's because we as energy are constantly interchanging with everybody else around us. And if we didn't deal with those pressing of buttons with our parents and our siblings in our early years, then we are just going to attract people in our adult life that have the same vibration of energy. So just a show of hands, have you ever had like a boss or a partner that was like one of your parents? They had similar traits?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So as we go through our life, and it's a lifelong journey to, you know, resolve things with our parents and with siblings in our lifetime. It's all part of the process and part of the unfolding, is that we will attract other people of similar vibrations so that we don't lose the lesson, that we continue to be poked and prodded and challenged to change. So Uzi over their journey becomes quite a master at this, learning all the different tools and techniques in communication and how to look after their energy, how to keep their aura protected, all of these little things Uzi's picking up along the way. And sometimes there's some hard lessons, sure, that's all part of life too. And sometimes there's some real triumphs as Uzi can start to acknowledge that they're actually learning a lot more about how to navigate through the different elements that planet Earth offers. So Uzi was starting to learn that if you don't learn the lessons with your first family, then you will continue to learn them with partners that you attract, with business partners that you go into business with, and with children that you have. So there are exponential opportunities for Uzi to be constantly provoked to change and grow and be challenged. All right, so let's do a quick check-in with Uzi on the journey so far. So we talked about, firstly, before Uzi even incarnated, Uzi was establishing a connection with the consciousness, a connection with the universe, really understanding how their vibration worked, what it felt like, what it was going to planet Earth to do, and really owning their own soul's origin, where they came from, where the source is for them, where home is in the universe for them. Then Uzi decides to have an incarnation, comes down to planet Earth. It's a very rude awakening, and suddenly has to navigate all these different nuances of this new environment that, you know, they don't have at that time any conscious awareness that perhaps they've been there before. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Then as Uzi continues to navigate, they are then starting to share space with other people. So they've chosen the location they're going to be born into, they've chosen their family, their parents, their siblings, all for the specific reason of their vibrations. And then they're really starting to expand into that collective community and starting to interact with all different manner of men and women and different energies that help them really expand their experience of being on planet Earth. So far, Uzi started with a very universal spiritual perspective, came to planet Earth, Kudung, and then started to take on a very planetary perspective. So that's kind of where Uzi is up to right now. So if you were to check in with a recap for yourself. Let's just check in on how you are learning about your ability to embrace change and challenge. Oh. So we've talked about how you normally respond to change. You got a couple of keywords at the beginning to speak to that. You had the opportunity to tune into your pre-incarnation conversation. And how neat was that? You got the opportunity to ask how many lifetimes that you have lived, and why did you choose your parents and siblings for the specific learnings they were going to offer, not just them to you, but you to them. And then once you expanded into other avenues, you then had lots and lots of mirrors in your community and relationships around you. So if you were to just do a check-in based on what we've talked about so far, what do your insights tell you about your ability to embrace change and challenge so far? What did your insights tell you about your ability to embrace change and challenge? So I'll just give you a few moments to reflect on that. Okay. So, Leanne, would you like to share what you're putting together so far?
Yes. So I've got all the tools and the resources and the knowledge within me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about living each day to the max and not having regrets and jumping before I know how to fly.
Nice. Beautiful.
And trusting, just trusting.
Yeah. Wow. So beautiful. It's so true, isn't it? That taking that leap of faith, even though you think, oh, I'm not ready to fly yet. But
that's a common pattern throughout my life. I do that a lot.
Yes, yeah. And then when you do, what happens? When you do take that leap of
So
faith?
I take it because I follow it from my intuition. So I take it. And then sometimes I have a little bit of a freak out.
Yes. Quite natural.
and it all works out. But yeah, there is a bit of a reaction. I've got to
Yes.
say.
Yes.
Where's my parachute?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. All right, beautiful. Excellent. Well, we're well on track. So let's have a look at what Uzi is up to next. So now Uzi is going to have a bit of change of gears. So Uzi has been living a planetary life and learning and having all the experiences that come with that. But now she's going to up the ante. And this time, Uzi's learning about their individuality and starting to really ask questions, make different decisions, and really reconsider what their beliefs truly are, as opposed to the beliefs that they thought were theirs, but perhaps were more the influence of the environment that they incarnated into. So Uzi starts on a journey of deep diving into their own self-discovery. They start to learn and deep dive into understanding all sorts of different areas of influence and areas of wisdom, and all different sort of cracking the mold, if you like. They're cracking the mold of the traditions that they grew up with, and they're breaking beyond those traditions and breaking beyond those modes of thinking to be able to start coming more from their soul perspective. And it's like a feeling of rising from your soul and really breaking out and breaking free. So what I'd like you to do now is to reflect on these few questions for yourself. Now that you've heard about Uzi's experience, is how have you broken the mold for yourself so far? How have you really broken through some of those understandings and traditions that you were told were important, and you perhaps even thought they were important too, but now you're starting to challenge them for yourself? And that might be by way of how you live, who you commune with, where you live, what profession you have, what sort of goals you have in life and what's important. So how have you broken through the mold of some of those for yourself? And the second question, what do you want to break the mold of next? What's on your radar for something that you think perhaps you're feeling confined in, or you really want to explore how you feel about it uniquely for yourself? So I'll give you another moment to reflect on those questions. Okay, so Leanne, how did you go?
Well, that was an interesting one.
Yes.
Really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So one way that I broke the mold, and that a lot of us have done as well, is I was brought up by my mum particularly to go to uni and get a full-time professional job,
Yeah.
not run a business.
Yes.
Do not ever, ever run a business. So what did I do? I've been running my business for almost 17 years.
That's it.
And my mum says, "Oh, you're so good at running business." After she got over all that.
Yeah.
Um,
Amazing.
yeah, so it didn't actually take me that long to get to break that mold, because I just saw all the limitations with the traditional system. So I just knew that that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But my next one is a way bigger goal. And my next one is to break the mold, like, and take my message global. So traditionally, I've been working in systems with finance that other people have put together. And it's like, follow the system. It's almost templated. And I'm moving into a space where I'm designing and creating the systems. So it's pretty huge. Yeah. And anyone can access them. It doesn't matter where they are in the world. If they resonate, they can work with me. So
yeah.
And really moving into some deep, incredible collaborations with others as well, because that is key, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. So true. And it's all part of us now getting out into the world like Uzi, and really experiencing how we can operate at a higher vibration, not just kind of succumb to everything that's happening around us and fit in and try and sometimes not be noticed too much, and all of those things, whatever our experience of that is, but to know that we have magic to take out into the world. That's actually part of what we're here to do for many people. So being able to join together and do that with others is potentially a very big part of that. We're here to commune with each other. We're not here to hide away and have our own little solo journey. We do have a solo journey from the perspective of no one else is on our path. From that perspective, we incarnate at not the same time as anybody else. Even with twins, they're still slightly separate. And then when we pass on, that's our own unique time again. And our trajectory between those 2 points is completely unique. So it is a solo, unique journey from that perspective. But we are here on planet Earth to all, rub up and down against one another and learn from each other's vibrations. So that's a very important part of it. So, wow, well, I'm excited for you to have that on your radar and just be setting your energy for that. That's massive. Yeah, fantastic. Awesome. All right, well, let's check in with Uzi again as to where they are on their journey of embracing change. So Uzi is becoming quite an expert at this whole change skill now. And so now Uzi is moving into openness. And that's a feeling of taking action and embracing new challenges. And they may even go through several chapters of a seed change or a tree change, totally changing their profession or the location that they live. So you've touched on it already, Leanne, and I just ask you to check in with these questions again for everybody, is to tap into your openness to outgrow your previous self. So just how open are you to being more of your authentic self, to expanding into areas of your vibration that you haven't yet touched? It's about being fluid with the people around you in your life as they come and go as the energy dictates. And this time, your challenge to get out into the world and meet new people and absorb new vibrations of energy is driven from passion and inspiration. It's not driven by being on the receiving end of a challenge and having to endure to get through it. So I'd ask you to just reflect on these few questions. You might be able to dig a little deeper, perhaps. Leanne, and Jay has landed now, so she might be able to get to the same. What is your openness to outgrow your former self? Have you had your tree change or sea change yet? Did it have the desired effect? And do you need another one? If you haven't had one yet, do you need one? And if you have had one, do you need another one? So we're really expanding beyond our current frame of reference now. So I'll just give you a few moments to check in on that. Okay. Well, Leanne, how did you go that time?
Oh, well, yes, I've had a...
Oh, I can't hear you for some reason. You're not on mute, but...
can you
there
hear me
you go.
now?
Yes.
Oh. Yes, I've had tree changes, quite a few of them. And they catapulted me out of my comfort zone and brought tremendous personal growth. Just like nothing else, just huge personal growth. And I feel like I've been going through another one this year as I transition my business more from the traditional finance model and the one-on-one in an office type environment to online and worldwide, as I'm saying, like worldwide audience. and just so many different ways of doing business have opened up before my eyes. And really to also, like, I've done the traditional business where I've had employees and subcontractors in an office, and now it's more about, like I was saying, collaborating with like-minded people, but being very selective with who I collaborate with, because I think that that's really important, that you have to be very aligned.
Yes.
But yeah, just forming those, like, they're just coming to me sort of naturally, like it's just forming them. And what else did I write down? Yeah, like transitioning my business to be more in alignment with who I am now.
That's it. Exactly.
Because I've changed.
That's it. I love that. And as we evolve through all of these change processes, we can start to understand that we don't have a business side and a personal side and a social side and a spiritual side. We just are us. We are our vibration of energy, and it's important to have fluidity throughout all of those things so we can be the fullness and uniqueness of who we really are, and really let that uniqueness unfold. Be really open to transcending beyond what we've kind of left behind, because energy is always evolving. Energy we don't want it to stagnate. It's like water. If it's a stagnant water and it's a pond, then it gets mold and growth and all sorts of things. But if it's constantly flowing water, then it stays alive and vibrant all the time, and our energy is just the same. So actually change is the solution for us to feel vibrant and energized and living life and living the destiny of our innate desire as a soul to grow and evolve.
Amazing.
That's a perfect recipe, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, Jai, you're actually in a position that you might be able to share. What would you like to share after listening all this time?
Oh my goodness! While I've been listening, we went to the pool shop. I had the car running, and the fan and the speaker running through the car, and I got a flat battery, and I had my 4-year-old granddaughter in the car. So I had to find somebody. They called up. I ambushed them. I said, "I'm so sorry, but can you help me? You wouldn't happen to have jumper leads?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I do have some." Had the car started within about 2 minutes.
There you go. Wow.
Stopped in at a pottery, little pottery business in Mudgery Bar, which on the way home, and now I'm back in my office.
Right.
So I've had plenty of tree changes in the last hour.
Yes.
Well, I'll start with the big tree change that occurred 6 years ago when I was up here on business, and I was a Melbourne girl, very happily living in Melbourne, beautiful property, reasonably good business. And I met a man. I'd been on my own predominantly for about, I guess, 10, 12 years. I mean, I'd had a few boyfriends, and then it all just shifted gears. So he was not going to move back to Melbourne. So the decision that we made was that I would move to Queensland, to the Gold Coast. So that was the first major tree change, I would say, in probably, because I'd raised my children on my own. So, to become part of a couple again was quite, very, and we're very different. He's Romanian, or he says Hungarian, but he's Romanian, comes from a communist country, very up to date, ex-banker, so very up to date with the monetary systems and what's happening there, or not happening there. And I'm the daughter of a banker. My father was a banker, and my mother was a pharmacist, and I would have been 5th generation pharmacist had I chosen pharmacy as a profession.
Oh,
so I grew up in a very corporate background. Mum bought her first pharmacy at 27, so I saw a woman in business all her life, and not just in business, in service. So
yes.
I understand that concept very well. And then I did a lot of self-development training. I've worked with Tony Robbins and T. Harv Eker and Blair Singer and, you know, many transformational leaders in my self-development journey, because I decided I'd take 5 years off and just immerse myself. And so that meant when I started to make the first tree change to come to Queensland, which I had any thought to come and live in Queensland, because I don't particularly like the heat up here. I'm a snow skier and I've skied all my life, you know, and so I've got a real pull back into the mountains in Victoria, because I have, you know, a residence there. And however, what actually happened was that he then suffered a stroke. So it sort of changed life for us. We were both very corporate. And what's happened, I think, is that we were both on this self-development journey anyway, and we were looking for a new business and a place to operate that new business. Yes, darling. You'll have to ask Mummy, sweetheart. I'm just in a webinar, sweetie. Just ask Mummy. It's in the fridge, and get her to put it in. Just get her to heat it up for you. Sorry, guys. That's one of the tree changes. And my daughter's now moved up here with her 2 grandchildren. So life just had this really interesting way of throwing challenges at us, and not small challenges, massive challenges, you know, that we've had to really negotiate and overcome, and really at times really put our relationship under massive pressure. And so we had looked for this property. This is probably the biggest tree change, is that I went into another business. I went back into the restaurant game, you know, hospitality, and, you know, very corporate again. And then with COVID, that all just, you know, lost a lot of money. And then we find this beautiful property up in Benogan, which we've probably been looking for 5 or 6 years, with the concept of opening a magnesium spa business outdoors, offering many modalities that not necessarily I'll offer, but we're very aligned with many health professionals that come from the alternatives therapy space. So we have 7.5 acres and lots of space. And yeah,
that sounds like a tree change.
Oh, that's a massive tree change. We have this massive garden, you know, some of it's bush, but a lot of it is Japanese in its influence. So we've got lots of statues on the property, and, you know, and it's an evolving thing, because the property was left dormant for 5 years because the Japanese gentleman who owned it was an investor who came and spent a month in the property to play golf and paint. And of course, for the 2 years of COVID, he wasn't here. So, you know, the property's had this really interesting energy that's really starting to emerge again. And yeah, so there's something quite spiritual on the property itself. I don't know whether or not there was an Aboriginal, you know, either burial ground or ceremonial space. People feel the energy when they come up. So that is, you know, we've only been here, we haven't even really settled in yet. I mean, there's just junk everywhere at the moment as we settle in, but that's that transition process of, you know, the chaos,
that's it,
perturbation, and then the moving forward, and, you know, the allowing for the space to move forward, because, you know, as you know, the chaos and the perturbation has to occur for the shift to occur.
Well, that's exactly what we've just been talking about, which was letting it unfold, like continually unfolding your experiences, unfolding the next chapter, you know, and really letting energy evolve so that it clarifies. And then you want to get to a higher state of refinement, and then you're going to unfold some more. So it's like this continual process, which is what you've just been sharing, Jay, which is great. Like, I love all the changes that you've been having, and not to say they haven't come with challenge, right? But, you know, it is that evolution that is so important for our growth as a soul spiritually.
Mm.
Oh, I'm not interrupting. I'm not going to answer you. Leanne in the background sending me messages, so I got distracted. I'm so sorry.
Okay. That's all right. Don't worry.
I'll answer her in a moment. Look,
Okay.
I think when you understand that change is totally constant and things can change in a heartbeat, and both, and I'll say positive and negatively, they can change in a heartbeat. And looking for the lessons in massive change sometimes is very tricky. You know, when your partner has a stroke and then, you know, it has some other health challenges that have come from the stroke, it changes, you know, the whole dynamics of the relationship, you know, and I'll say the expectations of the relationship. You know, his capacity to do things has been challenged. And that came off left field too. So, you know, you know, you understand, well, you know, some days I'm really shitty, I guess, is the other part of it. And that's being honest with yourself that, you know, you're allowed to be shitty. You know, you're actually allowed, it's actually okay to be shitty. It's how long you stay there.
Yeah.
And
that's
how long
so
you know, how long you focus on, you know, the and I'll say the sad side of the situation, and what growth that I've had to have to actually be able to sustain myself through the process. And coming on this webinar, even on Friday, there were challenges because something happened to him. So, you know, of course, I've become less, and I'm not saying important, but I'm less of the focus until we get that balance right again. And the only way I've worked that out, because I'm, you know, I'm super independent. I'm you know, numerically, I'm a number 1. I'm a Leo, born in the year of the tiger. You know, I'm water based, thank goodness. You know, I'm very capable of doing all these things on my own, but I've also realized that to do it on your own just puts so much pressure on you as a woman, because energetically, you know, there's that part of us that needs to embrace other people to actually allow us to become much more in our female energy again too. Because, you know, when for me, when I find challenges come up, I tend to go into male energy, because, you know, that's the doer in me, that's the achiever part of me,
that's the get yourself out of hot water type.
And I'm, you know, I'm a yoga instructor. I mean, that came because I wanted to formalize my knowledge, but I don't really teach yoga. However, I'm teaching it all the time without consciously being aware of that. That's actually just happens as part of conversations occur.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing some of your story, Jay. I mean, it's amazing. Everyone has so many chapters in their life. And I think the important thing that can sometimes actually be a little bit hard to reconcile is that for whatever reason, all these things are happening for a reason. And we can know that, like intellectually know that. But it's really processing that and taking that deep to understand, well, why is it that I'm attracting that, or I've chosen to be in that, you know, all of
That's
those.
That's a question I ask a lot.
And it is an unfolding. It really is an unfolding. So we're going to talk now about our uniqueness unfolding. So we're going to go back to our muse, Uzi, to see where Uzi is at. So on Uzi's travel of change and embracing change, how they are really elevating their experience of that is to really look at things from a fresh perspective, to really start knowing that their experience is not like anybody else's. No one else has the same set of circumstances, the same people in their lives, the same past lives that they've come to heal this lifetime. So all of a sudden, Uzi's doing a bit more of a deep dive into looking at things from a much more fresher perspective. So looking at their life from the outside in. And that can be a really, really powerful thing to do, because when we're in amongst our story of what's happening, sometimes it can be hard to get the perspective of what are the solutions, what's the big picture here, what is it that I need to learn, because we can only take responsibility for what we need to learn, not what anybody else needs to learn, even if they're in the same experience with us. But when we look at ourselves, literally, you know, imagine yourself coming out of your body and looking back at yourself. It helps give us real perspective to really look at, you know, where is life up to? Because by this stage of the journey, we're really getting a lot more reflective on, okay, well, what have I kind of transformed through and transitioned through so far? And where do I want the rest of my trajectory to be heading? Now, when we do look at ourselves from the outside in, we then start to have this amazing innate ability to really deep dive into how we're feeling deep inside, so that we can then go deeper into the from the inside out perspective on our journey. And it's really important that we continue to do that. It doesn't matter how much self-development, spiritual development, reflection, meditation, anything that one has done, there is always more. You know, while we've still literally got a physical body on this planet, it means our job is not done yet. So therefore, we are continual students of the universe and living more, because we've been through the journey that we have, to know that we have more freedom of choice. We have more innate abilities inside of us that we perhaps didn't know that we'd have before. So it's like we're developing a bit of a spiritual maturity about where we're at along our journey. So I would like to ask you a question now, if you could take a moment to reflect, is what is your uniqueness that you have unfolded for yourself so far? And I'd invite you to get 2 key words for insights on what there is yet to discover about you and your uniqueness. So what's your uniqueness that you've unfolded for yourself so far? And getting at least 2 key words for insights on what there is yet to discover about you and your uniqueness. So I'll just give you a few moments to answer that. Okay, so who would like to share their insights? Oh, the second part of the question. Sorry, Leanne. So it was what you've unfolded about your uniqueness so far, and get 2 keywords on what you are yet to discover about your uniqueness.
Yeah. Okay. So I've just got one more. So what I've discovered so far is that I really feel like I'm just at the tip of the iceberg.
Yes. Yay. Isn't that awesome?
So that's really exciting.
Yes.
And like the real tip of it, there's so much more.
Amazing.
And my 2 words, one's definitely expansiveness, because there's so much more there. And the other one is, I've got to feel into the other one. It's courage. The courage to just keep at it.
Yeah, nice.
And not move back to my comfort zone.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, comfort zones are a big part of it, aren't they?
I don't even know where my comfort zone is these days. I always seem to be out of it. But
there's so much change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, great word to get. Now you can put out to understand why you got it.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you. All right. Jay, would you like to share?
Sure. I've struggled a bit with the first question because so much came up. And to actually really redefine it down into one word or one insight was, my mind went all over the place, and I actually went to Malaysia, where I did some court work in Malaysia, and it came down into warrior compassion.
Beautiful.
So from there, that the journey that we are on, it's not a war. It's, it could be defined sometimes as a war with ourselves.
Sure.
I don't like using the word war. I think it's very, it's used very acutely through the media, to manipulate people. So I don't like using the word war. However, it's in warrior. So
yes,
again, it's that recognition that this is, a play and a ploy with ourselves to be the best possible people we can be.
Yes.
And the 2 words that came to me was mindful and courageous. And interestingly, when Leanne said courageous, I thought, that actually works for me too. That courage, even when life is really throwing some interesting challenges at you, and knowing that it's all created and self-created, and thinking, well, what am I actually learning out of this? And maybe I'm not seeing it right now, but it will, and you've used the word multiple times, it will unfold. And this journey that seems at times beyond my capacity then shifts, and then something else shows up.
Yes.
In a moment, and then the wheels spin in a slightly different way, and the energy changes and the flow starts again. So it's that understanding that it is so not static. However, getting stuck sometimes, when there are challenges, because we as a couple have a lot of health, I'm fabulously healthy. He has a lot of health challenges, and looking at the energetics of that and the dynamics of that, and where I've come into play and how long I've been there in his life lifetimes ago.
Yeah.
So, that has been something that's taken me, I thought, away from my goal, to build this business. However, in many ways, it's actually brought it closer because it's drawn in the people that we will ultimately, you know, work with.
Yes. Great. Wow.
And yeah, so that's been a very interesting realization.
Yeah, fabulous. It's so true, you know, sometimes when we're in the thick of an experience, you know, and again, we're in the story of it, that, you know, sometimes it's hard to get that perspective of looking from the outside in, because, you know, we are understandably sometimes embroiled in what's happening in that moment. And so it's just so important for that reflection and that stepping out. And, you know, for me, it's doing things like going in nature, or even going and having a shower can be a great way to change your energy. For some people, it's listening to music or cooking a beautiful meal, or, you know, singing at the top of your lungs, whatever it is, to really get ourselves out of that headspace of the stories that we continually are telling ourselves, to be able to step out and go, okay, what's the bigger picture here? Yeah. Because we're all experienced souls, you know, and we all have an amazing resource of energy around us that can give us the answers that we're seeking. And the more we keep our energy clear, the more we can have those channels of communication open to really hear the truth, you know, not just, you know, kind of what we want to hear or what we think is the answer or what we believe it should be, but actually the truth of the situation. So thank you so much for sharing, ladies. It's really great to hear, you know, the insights really land and ground in your experiences that you're having in your life right now. So I really appreciate you sharing so openly. It's fantastic. So let's have a look now at, well, this is Uzi's final step on graduating to embrace challenge and change. So let's check in with where they are at. This is the final step, which is all about self-truth. So we've just been talking about getting the facts around situations. So by now, Uzi is an expert at coping with change, embracing it for their soul's purpose, loving the challenges that come, because they know they've got this massive toolbox, energetically, spiritually, even physically, to be able to deal with whatever comes their way. And they're actually quite relaxed in that knowing, that they know that whatever challenge comes, that it's their guidance bringing it their way for whatever reason it is that they need for their soul's understanding. And so get on board with having that open communication so that they can then get on with, you know, moving forward on their journey, whatever that looks like. And that's that continual innate desire in us as a soul to want to heal and grow in our journey. So really it all comes together in that central space, regardless of everything else that's going on around us and the whole cycle and journey that we've just traveled on with Uzi, is it all comes back to what is our truth inside of us, because it evolves too. It may feel like one thing one day, and then tomorrow it may have evolved into something else. And there are certainly lots of different truths out there for individuals and for certain energies. But the most important truth for us to tap into is our inner truth, our self-truth, and what it is really sharing with us. Now, also, it's very important to know that this cycle that we've been talking through with Uzi is certainly not a one-way ticket. There's a complete network of all of these steps that we have been going through. You know, sometimes we do pop out back to the universe and recheck in with, well, how am I tracking along this timeline that I'm on right now? In fact, we do it every night when we go to sleep and go back out to the universe to regroup, not just the day's events, but sometimes the bigger picture of our journey as well. Sometimes we revisit memories from our childhood, or we're, you know, going through relationships that we have with family members in our earlier lives. Sometimes we go through stages of complete openness and just wanting to explore and be curious. And sometimes we have to go deep inside and really just check in with what's happening. So in reality, we're actually living all of those cycles all the time, you know, and it's just whatever our energy needs and is gravitating to, that, you know, us as now this expert of change and challenge, to know that we've got all of these resources to be able to tap into at any point in time. And the more we have that clear communication with the universe, the more we can circumvent that journey and that traveling throughout our lifetime, so that we get the absolute most out of it, that we get as close or even beyond our pre-planned destiny as we possibly can. And by virtue of all of that, we raise our consciousness, which was, you know, our goal in the first instance, to be able to clear any karma, live our destiny, and evolve our energy to a higher vibration. So it's a pretty perfect journey that we have set up for ourselves in doing all of that. It's definitely not a sequential journey. It doesn't kind of go in nice little steps like that. I think life would be a bit boring if it did that anyway, because we do like variety and that interconnectedness between us and all things. So I guess in wrapping up, you know, it's important for us to know that change is inevitable. You know, change is part of our journey, and our whole evolution is making decisions for change, for outcomes, for different challenges. So, in fact, we are actually already masters of change. Our body is changing, you know, every moment of the day. Our thoughts are changing, moving from confusion to clarity, and sometimes back to confusion, depending on where our headspace is at. Our perspectives are changing. You know, Jay's just been doing some beautiful sharing of how relationships can change over time with different experiences. And, you know, the courage that takes to really step through those experiences. Our goals can change, our moods can change, our cravings can change. I mean, there's change around us all day, every day. You know, you think about sometimes, you know, how you go through a spring cleaning process in your house and you clean out different rooms and the garage and the basement, and you think, right, I'm only going to keep the things I really, really want. And then 5 years later, you go back into the same space and you go, oh my God, why am I hanging on to all this stuff? And like, you're ready to get rid of the next layer, you know, because your energy's changed. And now you've taken those courageous steps, and now you're ready for, you know, the next release and the next batch of change that is rapidly happening all the time. So, in fact, our souls do love to be challenged. It's actually why we came here. So let's ask Uzi who they are, this masked hero that we have been tracking over this journey of evolution and having a lifetime on planet Earth. Well, I'm sure you've realized by now that Uzi is us. Uzi is all of us on our journey. And we are already masters of change. We are already masters in understanding challenge and how to rise to challenge and what we learn from challenge, because inevitably we are all a universal soul in flow on our own unique journey. And if you look at Uzi on the planet there, that's planetary Uzi having their experience. But remember too, there's our bigger selves, you know, our higher consciousness, the soul that we truly are out there in the universe, that is always there to back us along our journey and always there to share insights with us through and with our personal team of guides. So let's just do a recap over our journey. Firstly, we started talking about how important it is to embrace change by having a connection with the consciousness or the universe and field of energy around us, to really understand what that feels like. And checking back into that moment before we incarnate is a very great way, important way to really feel the fullness of that experience. Then we're tapping into and tuning into owning your soul's origins. Where do you come from? You know, who are you really as a soul? Not the personality and roles that we live and the stories that we get involved in throughout our life, but owning who we actually are as a soul. Then when we incarnate down onto the planet with that great grounding and footing and direction and purpose of what we're here to do, we come down on the planet like a big kajong. And then all of a sudden we have to navigate all the different nuances that come with our individual life. We've chosen certain people to share space with. So we start with our immediate family, and then over our lifetime that grows and grows until we're a part of a collective community. And it's really important to be out and about in that community to whatever degree and extent you feel is right for you, because it is important for us as souls to, you know, feel other people's vibration of energy. That might just be in business, it might be just in going to the shops, it might be in going to the library or being part of community groups or business groups or social groups, whatever it is. Then this is kind of just over the halfway point, and this is where Uzi and all of us really step up to the plate. We've kind of navigated through life for a while. We know, you know, a bit about how it works. Hopefully we've put together a lot about how it works for us on our journey. And so we start to get inspired by our own individuality. We start to really check in with, okay, well, I've started to learn for myself. I've been observing others and what they do in life as well. But you know what? It's just time for me to find my own way. It's time for me to follow my unique path, and being very inspired to find out more about what that is and how you're destined to travel it. Then we up the ante even more in having an openness to outgrow our former selves. So being really open, being like a humble student of the universe all the time. It's quite, you know, the opposite of getting to this point and having so much experience and wisdom and thinking, oh, well, I'm kind of mastering this stuff now. It's almost the opposite. It's almost like you're so humble and so open to learning that you go, well, yes, I've learned a lot this lifetime. Yes, I acknowledge a lot of the wisdom that I have, and there's more. And to be excited about that, to be curious about that, and to be wanting to always, you know, open yourself to listening more than speaking, you know, listening to your guidance and the universe and the echoes that come so that you can actually hear the answers that are specifically for you. Then our next step is very enthusiastically working into our uniqueness unfolding. When we really gather that momentum, we're inspired for change, we're willing to go beyond where we have been able to take ourselves so far. Our true uniqueness really starts to shine. And that's when we just find ourselves in the right place at the right time, opportunities come our way, and our destiny is naturally unfolding itself, rather than us continually having to search and try and find it. And then, of course, the beautiful cycle finishes with us having this beautiful sense of our own self-truth, our own inner truth, not anybody else's truth, not a truth that someone else tries to tell you is the way to go or the right one, because we can only ever rely on our own echo. And it's very important that we make sure we are a clear channel to receive that echo in its fullness, its purity, and its potency, so that that is what truly helps us navigate in life. So let's do a final reflection, just wrapping up all of that journey that we've taken with Uzi and ourselves in Uzi's reflection. And let's just look at writing an embracing change mantra or affirmation. So I'd invite you to go back to the first two key words that you wrote down at the beginning of this session, which is, how do you respond to change? And what I'd invite you to do is write a sentence containing those words and any of the other fabulous insights that you guys have gotten throughout the session today from all of the reflections. So I've given you a few little examples of how you might like to start your mantra off, but please feel free to use those or not. You may create something completely different for yourself. Just be creative, let it unfold, put all those beautiful insights that you've been putting together throughout the session today together, and let's see what an amazing mantra that you can put together for yourself today. So I will let you do that for a few moments, and then we'll come back together again. There's plenty of time if you need more time. You don't want to rush it. You want to make sure you get a beautiful mantra in this pocket of energy.
Just checking if anyone's on the in the Facebook group.
Great. Yes, we'd love to hear from them as well. So feel free, they can put it in the comments now, or if they want to spend a bit more time putting it together, we would love to hear it, you know, in the comments when you've polished it up or when you feel solid with it. And anyone who watches the replay as well, of course, we'd love to hear everybody's mantras. I'm sure they'll be really inspiring. So how about for you, Leanne? Are you in a position to be able to share?
I am. So
Okay.
I am ready for change in feeling unsafe and anxious. I'm committed to now transcend the challenges and the changes. My inspired actions are to embrace and trust.
Love them.
And I feel safe and on purpose, connected and supported.
Wow. Oh, I just got massive chills. That's fabulous.
It's like really powerful. That I'm just loving that.
Yeah, that's great. Beautiful. How amazing. So you might even like to, you know, print that out, make it look beautiful, put it up on your wall and have it as your inspiration throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it feels really heartfelt and so individual to you, you know?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well done. Thank you for sharing.
It's okay.
How did you go, Jay?
I went down a slightly different track. I didn't actually see your questions. So I I've actually created a mantra that I tend to live by. And I would like to now redefine that somewhat, because it's worked for many situations. And I think that there's probably a little bit more redefinement around it. However, I'll read you the mantra as it stands.
Okay, great.
I'll now command my subconscious mind to only accept positive people, thoughts, and actions that are in line with my goals now.
Beautiful.
So, however, I love your questions. I saw that after I had formulated that, and I'm now seeing your questions, thinking they're beautiful, and I think that I can embrace those questions and expand on that mantra.
Beautiful. Well, if you like, I'll do a little screenshot of the questions and I'll pop it in the comment section with this recording, so that you or anyone can easily access them and create their own mantra. Because, you know, sometimes we want different mantras for different situations, you know, and like you said, that mantra's worked for you for quite some time, but now you think you might be ready for an evolvement, you know, a sort of refinement of it. So how exciting is that?
I've got one from the chat as well, Sashua.
Oh, great.
Yeah, okay, so it's from Rosie Whitehead.
Hello, Rosie. Lovely to know that you're there.
Rosie's in Benogan as well. She's near you, Jay.
Oh, wow.
Got the Benogan crew. The Benogan crew.
The Bonigan birds.
Yeah. She's the street below the cafe. You go up there. I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but there's yours, then there's the cafe, then there's the next one.
Oh, extraordinary.
Hidden Valley Road. Hidden Valley Road.
Our property backs onto Hidden Valley Road.
Yeah. So Rosie says her inspired actions are to follow my intuition, feel into decisions, breaking through limiting beliefs that I will not succeed.
Oh, wow. Love that.
Yeah.
Very, very powerful.
Yeah. And she said, what did she say? She missed the start, so she'll watch the whole replay and amazing content. Thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you, Rosie. Well, I look forward to us connecting sometime. It's great to have you out there in the ether somewhere, feeling your vibration come in and join us. That's really wonderful. And for anyone who's watching the recording too, you know, I did feel like I was speaking to, you know, more than those that were in the room, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is really very special. So so that's really great. So the recording's there, and of course, you know, I'd like to just wrap up the energy now in doing a final meditation, just to kind of bring the whole energy together and to leave us feeling really, you know, empowered and ready for our next steps. So if you ladies and Rosie and anyone else who might be listening would like to join in, just make yourself really nice and comfortable in your chair. I'll invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable to. And let's take 3 big, deep breaths in and out. Really taking yourself into your heart space. And then as you're really relaxing into that calm space, just ask your positive field of energy around you, the light around you, your guides, the universe. Ask them to come in really close around your energy now. And just really feel them step in and around your aura. And with them supporting you, just bringing a crystal clear light all the way from the universe. And feel that light just shower down over you. Feel it like a waterfall, just washing you clean from every moment before this moment. Washing away anything that may have been stirred up in today's session that needs healing and cleansing. Feel that washed away now. And as that white light moves in through your chakra system, just feel it cleansing and clearing and healing your physical body. And then expanding throughout your aura, just gathering up any negativity or shadows that are in your aura right now. And feel them being cleansed and moved out to the universe also. And as you continue to channel that energy from the universe, just feel your aura expand with that white light. And send that white light across the whole of the environment that you're in right now. And feel it just gathering up any confusion, any dark spots, any low vibration energy. Just feel the light moving in and moving that energy out of the way. It no longer has a place there. It's time for it to go. Then expanding that white light further, take it throughout the whole house or building that you're in right now. And just feel it move really swiftly like a whirlwind, just going through each and every room, gathering up all the low vibration energy, any dark spots in corners, under furniture, in cupboards, just feel it all washed out and cleansed. And now expanding that white light, take it throughout anyone else that's in that environment with you or normally resides there. Feel their energy cleansed as well. And then take a moment to cleanse all the communication lines between you and all of those people. And now extend that energy further, that white light, and now cleansing all communication lines between you and everyone that you commune with, whether it's family or friends, community or business. And as that white light gathers momentum now, expand it throughout your whole district, cleansing your neighbours so that your property is really protected and buffered, cleansing across your whole suburb. And now feel that white light really gathering momentum. And as it moves, it just gathers up any confusion or negativity or low vibration energy that you can sense or feel. And it sends it straight out to the universe for cleansing. And expand that white light now. It's going across the whole city that you're in. And it's expanding and continuing that whirlwind and really sucking up negative energy. Anything that you feel is holding you back in life, just direct that white light to that energy now. Any mood swings you have, any blockages in your thoughts, any lack of belief, just feel the whirlwind move in around that energy and cleanse it now. And expanding that white light, take it across the whole state that you're in now, just cleansing everyone and everything. And now feel it travel across all of Australia and now the whole planet. And just feel the light of spirit just encompass the whole planet, gathering up any other confusion or negativity that is interfering with the free flow of the planet at the moment. Just feel that energy taken out effortlessly and taken out to the universe for cleansing. Just feel it happening really simply, effortlessly, as spirit moves in and makes it happen. And then releasing all of that out to the universe. Just take a moment now to spend a moment with your guidance and just ask them to cleanse you for any other blockages that you may be experiencing right now, anything else you need releasing from. Just ask them to help you with that now. And then just feel all of that being lifted off and taken out to the universe for cleansing. Now cut your energy from all of that and just travel to your pure space in the universe. Just reconnect with your guides there and really let them know that you're open to hear their insights anytime. And acknowledge yourself for taking out time for yourself today on your own journey of self-discovery. And just take a big, deep breath in now. And on your exhale, just feel yourself coming back down into your body, safe and secure. Feeling yourself sitting on the chair with your feet on the ground. And taking another big, deep breath in and out. Just open your eyes on your exhale. Wiggle your fingers and toes if you need to make sure you're really back on the planet. And we might just go around to ask everybody how they feel after that experience. So Rosie, we'd love to hear from you as well. And Jay, would you like to share? You just muted yourself.
So I unmuted myself. How I feel, just really grounded, really solid, stable, clear. I've been very tired. We had a huge day yesterday, and I was up very early this morning, so I've been feeling a bit tired. So I feel a little bit more energized.
Great. Beautiful. Glad to hear.
Yeah. Namaste.
Yeah. How about you? Thank you.
I feel connected and empowered.
Nice. Excellent. Great. Now, has Rosie had a chance to put in any feedback on how she feels?
No, I'm not. No, not yet.
That's all right. She might share a little later. Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Well, I would like to say thank you so much for the opportunity of sharing today. It's been my absolute pleasure to be a part of the Let Live Festival with you, Leanne, and all the other Radiant authors and all the amazing people that I know are connecting in at various times during the week. There's nothing like having a week-long festival with lots of abundance of sessions and all of those things. So I would like to mention to you guys here, and of course all the people who are listening, that every Monday morning I do an energy cleanse similar to what we just did then. Of course, it's purely channeled from the universe every time I do it, so it's completely different every time I do it. But I do offer that to people of a Monday morning so you can really focus your energy on the week ahead. You know, quite often we cleanse the goals, upcoming goals that you have for the week, and energize those. So it's a 20-minute session live via Zoom. And I'll put the link to register in the comments of this video as well, but it can also be found on my Linktree account there too. And also for anyone who's interested, I'd be happy to offer a free 40-minute inner direction strategy session, which is like a spiritual health check, I suppose you could call it. So that is certainly on offer as well. And yes, there is a link in the Linktree facility there too. So thank you so much. I hope everyone remembers our little conscious acronym so that everyone can remember just how powerful we all are in being masters of change and dealing with challenge.
Amazing, Sashua. And Rosie's just put her comments in.
Great.
Yes. So Rosie says, beautiful, felt a sense of calm, surrounded with love and light, and huge cleansing from the throat chakra.
Ah, great. Love that. Oh, I'm covered in chills.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thanks,
Thank you, Rosie. It's so lovely to have you share there on the fly.
Thank you so much, Sashua. That was incredible. I just feel Oh, really out of it, actually. Really relaxed in
okay.
a great way. In a great way. Really
so
relaxed.
Jay has just asked in the comments what time on Monday are those sessions. Thanks for asking that, Jay, because I didn't say that. So I actually run 2 sessions on a Monday morning. The link that I'm going to put in the chat is actually for one that happens at 8:30 a.m. Queensland time on Monday mornings. I also do a 7:30 session because I'm actually in Victoria. I work with people nationally, so I'm trying to cover different time zones for people. So if you're coming from Australian Eastern Standard Time, that's 7:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. So I'll put the 8:30 a.m. link in here, and if anyone wants the other link, just reach out.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sashua. That was just an incredible session. And it will all be in the Radiant books recorded, so anyone can watch it at any time. It will be on the Sunday, the 12th of December guide. So I've got quite a few guides in there for each day. I've broken it down into each day of the festival to make it easier.
Mm-hmm.
And Sashua will put her details in the comments. So if you want to get in contact with her, you'll be able to do that as well. And also, can you put the details of the cleanse in the comments in the Radiant books group
Sure.
as well? Yeah, great.
Yeah, I absolutely will.
Excellent.
And I'll just let everybody know I have the absolute fortune to be doing a second masterclass in this festival. So my next one is actually on Thursday, the 16th at 12 p.m. And that one is called Calling in Universal Energy, Who and How, Elevating Your Conscious Connection with the Universe and Its Bounty. So it's a fabulous follow-on from what we've just been talking about today.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for stepping right into the festival, Sashua, and delivering so many masterclasses. It's incredible, and so much value from them. With everyone will have got so much value from that. So
beautiful.
amazing.
Thank you so much, Leanne, for hosting it and putting it on for all of us. And Jay, thank you very much for coming along. I just saw your comment there. It was beautiful to have you here as well. Thank you so much. And Rosie.
And Rosie, yes.
And anyone else who's watching on the replay.
Rosie's just said thanks so much.
Ah, beautiful. You're welcome, Rosie.
Yeah.
I look forward to meeting you.
Okay, excellent. I'm just going to stop the recording.
Sure. Thanks, everybody.